Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom coming to you from Liverpool and I'm back for another Eurovision analysis video. Today I'm going to be going through the results of semi-final number 1. We had 10 qualifiers and 5 non-qualifiers. I'm going to go through each of them and also the running order to see what this could mean for them in the final. So let's kiki. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the show. I was actually at it last night. This is the only ticket that I have. The atmosphere was really amazing. Inside, it actually feels quite small. And I didn't realize before, but the stage is shaped like a hug. You really notice that when you walk in, it looks like someone's hugging you. Everything looked really, really cool. The lighting is really elaborate, very professional and well put together. Yeah, it's very impressive when you walk in. And this purple, yellow, blue color palette is really, really, really exciting and fun. It looks really great on the stage. Yeah, I thought the hosts were really good. All three of them were amazing. But Hannah Waddington really stood out for me. She's got a great energy off camera as well. When the cameras aren't rolling, you can see her joking with people and the other hosts. She's like amazing. I'm a little bit obsessed with her. But anyway, let's not get too into that. I did see the first dress rehearsal for the second semi-final today. I'm not going to do a video on that because I'm just being a little bit conscious that I'm starting to feel a little bit burnt out. I'm just pacing myself appropriately. I'll try to get my dress rehearsal video out tomorrow and then also my final predictions. I may do them in together in one video, I'm not sure. Okay, let's go through. I need to stop clapping. Okay, so the first qualifier called was Latvia from Croatia, and this was drawn into the second half. Now I think they called this first because it could be a little bit controversial. There are some people who don't like these more out there crazy entries, so you definitely wouldn't want to have this be the last one called because that's a way to really rile up people. So I think they got rid of it first. Now they say that the call order is random. I don't believe that for a second. I think it's completely and utterly, maybe they randomize it but then move a couple of things around afterwards. Look, this really deserves to go through. This is a really, really amazing staging. It's very fun when you're there and then you kind of rock out at the end. There's lots of stuff happening. The start drags, as I've already said, but it builds up to something that's very exciting, that it justifies the start. And even in the start minute, people are still doing the such and singing along with it. I think this has the most views on the YouTube channel since it was put up, so this is getting a lot of traction. I think actually this could do some damage to Garia in the televote in the final. You know, we were saying that before, is this gonna go really viral or is it gonna bomb? It looks like it's gonna go viral. These guys are so lovely. I went to the press conference afterwards and the lead singer was talking about the message of the song and how everyone who competes is a winner. It was really touching. I'm a big fan of these guys. I know some people are still treating this like a joke entry. It's not. These guys have been around 20 years plus. They're very established. This is their career and they're very, very, very nice people and they're trying to make a positive change in the world. And the staging is really, really fun. And also they've broken Croatia's 4 non-qualification streak. That is really, really excellent. That was one of the streaks that got broken. Unfortunately, one of the other streaks didn't get broken, which we'll talk about later. Being in the second half, again, yeah, this makes this even more of a televote threat for Garia. So yeah, look, people can vote for both of them. I think it might take 20-30 points off him, but who knows, that might be the 20 or 30 points that he needs. I'll talk about that later when I talk about Garia. Second qualifier announced was Moldova, Pasha Parfene, and he was also drawn into the second half. If I have time, I will. Oh shit. Sorry, I just put a stone in front of it because it just fell over. I'm very happy this went through. I think it's a really solid entry, very beautiful, it gives an ethnic feel, something different. There was a slight unfortunate moment with this. In case you don't know, when they are announcing the qualifiers, they'll have 2 or 3 cameramen running around in front of each delegation because they need to be ready to film their reaction to when they qualify. They need to do multiple people so that there's still a little bit of anticipation which of the 2 or 3 cameramen is the actual one. And unfortunately, when they did Moldova, they also had one on Malta. And I thought that they said Malta as well. The way they said it was like very Moldova, like an A. So yeah, unfortunately, Malta jumped up halfway thinking that they qualified. I was the same. I was in the arena and I thought that Malta had been called. So that was a little bit of an unfortunate moment. I think they probably could have avoided that by having the cameraman beside someone that didn't sound so similar. But yeah, it was an accident. Still very happy for Pasha. This is 2 out of 2 for him. I don't know if this is going to do massive damage in the final. Who knows? This could do the typical thing where it surprises and does really well at the televote. It's in the second half. That's definitely going to give it an advantage. But I'm not really seeing this as a big, massive contender. I'm seeing this more something mid-table. But still mid-table, again, from Moldova is really good. They're also in my hotel. I see them smoking sometimes. Not all of them smoke, some of them smoke. Okay, the third qualifier was Switzerland, Remo Ferrer, and he's been drawn into the first half. I have to admit, when I was in the arena, I had a little bit of a change of heart. I was like, oh, this is good, this is going to qualify. You know, when you're in the, watching it on the screen in the press room, sometimes the vibe is just a little bit different. And you've also got the writing on top, it says, don't film the screen, which can sometimes maybe take you out a little bit. But when I was watching it live, I was like, yeah, this looks really, really cool. I like some of the camera cuts. They were all very low in the camera shot and the dancers popped up. Yeah, and it really nice that a ballad went through. We were worried that possibly being televote only would penalize ballads a lot. But if you send a good ballad with nice staging, it can still qualify. And I feel like they adapted this a little bit. They added in the dancers. They gave it a little bit more energy. It wasn't just him standing on his own. So it feels like they were cleverly strategic in how they staged this. Still, some people seem to not really like this. Same as last year. People didn't like a lot of people didn't like Switzerland last year. I think this is a deserved qualification. I had Switzerland and Malta in my hands when I was doing my qualification video, and I had to pick between the two, and I picked Malta. So I almost got 10 out of 10, but I didn't. A lot of people did get 10 out of 10 in the comment section though. So I'll have to go through and count, but I think there was like a dozen people who got it right. I may have to do that in my next video because I just need to get this video recorded and out. I also think this was helped by the fact it came after Croatia. So anyone who didn't like Croatia immediately had a palate cleanser with Switzerland. So that draw was just perfect for them and highlight its attributes. Okay, the fourth called was Garia from Finland. Now this got a huge reaction in the stadium. Basically, anytime his name was mentioned or he came on camera or anything remotely close to him happened, people went absolutely crazy. Everyone in the arena was screaming cha-cha-cha while this was on. It was like explosive. People were manic. And there were quite a few casual viewers around me who you could tell hadn't heard any of the songs before and they were just going crazy. So this could get an absolute gigantic televote. I think almost definitely in the 300s at this point. Is it going to be so high that the jury score doesn't matter? I'm not sure. I also think that if this starts to gain more attention and traction, the jury members might start to become aware of it subconsciously and know that it's a favorite and be less willing to mark it down, if that makes sense. If it's got hype, maybe they won't want to seem out of touch by putting it too low down the rank. I'm not sure how the jury members think. Obviously some might think like that. Some might be like, I'm just going to put down whatever I want. I hope this doesn't get marked down too much. The vocals are still a little bit shaky towards the end. People at home were messaging me and saying they could hear that as well. That thing I was saying in the last video where he sounds a little bit breathless towards the end. I really hope they iron that out because I would hate that to be the reason that this doesn't win. It could be really, really close in actual final scores, and you know, if it comes down to 20 or 30 points from the jury, that could be the difference between him not winning. So I hope they can sort that out. They've got 3 or 4 days to rehearse and plan and strategize, so I hope they use them well. And this was drawn in the first half. The producers have an absolute nightmare. There are so many big hitters in the first half. I'm not going to go get my other magnets, but just to remind you, Italy, Spain and France are in the first half. Germany, Ukraine and UK are in the second half. Ukraine are 19th, UK are 26th. My magnets are somewhere over there. I don't want to detach everything and go get them. Your memories are very good, so I trust you to remember that. Fifth up was Czechia. Really happy about this one. I think it's very, very deserved. I really liked their press conference. They were talking about the message. There's Riley, it's right there. Yeah, this is really, sorry Riley, it's just there and they're organising where to have an interview. I really like his outfit, actually, the pink outfit. Really well deserved. I like their press conference afterwards. They were talking a little bit about the song and the layers of it, you know, female empowerment in general, even outside of the conflict that's happening. She had a story, something along the lines of her mother was told by a guy she had to choose between being a wife or having a job. And she was saying, we don't have to make those decisions anymore, and this is really important and it's growth. So yeah, these girls are really, really great. They also mentioned about the backlash from the pre-parties about how a lot of people were ragging on their vocals. So they called that out, and I saw that was on Twitter as well. Yeah, this is really, really great. I think this is second half. It is second half, and I hope that gives this an extra bit of life and this can start to work its way up the odds. I would really love this to come top 10. I think it's such a lovely song with a lot of meaning and depth. The visuals are fantastic. They're really, really great. I'm so impressed by how much elevated their stage presence and confidence and choreography is. Like, really wow. Just amazing. So much respect to them for it. Just looks like hard work to me. So I really want them to do well. I need to go a little bit quicker. Let's go to Israel. This is Noah Carell. Wow, people went crazy for this. I love the dance break part, and then when she goes and she does the flick up and we get her doing the unicorn with the unicorns on the side. That LED moment for me is just absolutely wow. I really like her as well. I thought that she would be like a bit of a diva or up herself. She was so fun in the press conference. I was watching her. She was paying attention to everybody's answers. Some of them were like clearly bored and wanted to go home. You know, they're tired and they're hungry. She was listening to every single answer. She is really nice. And she made a joke at the end, which I actually thought was funny. She said, I have a question. Do you want to see me dance? And I was like, that's brilliant. Because some of the press conference can drag a little bit, and then she just put in that joke. I thought it was absolutely hilarious, but I was like a little bit drunk and tired at the time, so she's really won me over. I had the song in my head, and this is a song that previously I just wasn't really on my radar, so I'm really excited about this final performance, and it's just going up. It's elevated for me. I think this has also got second half. It does, and that's going to help it being second half. We have a very interesting situation right now where pretty much all the favorites from the first half, and then everyone else who was kind of like 5 to 10 in the order are all in the second half, so it's quite an interesting balancing act because we're getting an evening effect from the running order. We know that songs in the second half tend to do a little bit better with the televote, and you kind of want a second half draw. We could see that during the live TikTok reveal because everyone who got second half was smiling and everyone who got first half was kind of like, wow. Okay, the next qualifier was Portugal. This blew my mind. People in the crowd love this. I tweeted about it because, oh my god, the audience went crazy. It's got a real clever pacing to it. It starts off kind of quiet and then it builds up and then it's explosion. The dancers are fantastic as well. They bring so much energy and dynamism to it. They're totally on point. The choreography is really fun. It feels very cultural, and also in the press conference she was talking about the kind of 60s, 70s feel of it as well. So this is so good. I wonder, are they going to put this as the opener? Because this was drawn first half. I feel like the only way this isn't going to be the opener is if Belgium qualifies. If Denmark qualifies, they're not going to put him first twice. That's too intense. Australia could open. We see often that the closer of a show, like the last act to perform in a semi-final, actually ends up being the opening act. Czechia had that. I remember Israel Imri had that, a couple others. But I think that Australia's just maybe a little bit too niche. Those songs are important for breaking up all the pop. You want to pop, 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 something different. Pop, 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 something different. So I don't think we'll open Australia. I still think Portugal makes the most sense, or Belgium, or actually Poland might be first if they qualify. I'll talk about my semi-final 2 prediction video. Really fantastic. She's amazing. This shows that you don't have to have big flashy LEDs. You can just get through being super charismatic, an amazing performer, just being a total badass bitch. Really well deserved. They need to give her the key to the city of Portugal because this is amazing. Next up is Sverige, Sweden. So Lorraine, I think they called this a little bit too late. It was called 8th. I think it was so obvious they should have called it 4th or 5th because then it would have made the semi-final announcement more exciting. This is, okay, I've just got to come with that out. I think she's absolutely amazing. In her press conference, she's the funniest, like most eccentric person ever. She calls everyone darling. She's like, darling, what do you mean? She's very spiritual and she's got a real motherly feel to her. I absolutely love her. Like, I already loved her, but that press conference kind of won me over a little bit more. When I was in the arena, I was expecting to feel quite detached from this because I thought it would be like Benjamin Grosso, where he's kind of doing his thing and just ignores the audience. But when she came in, she waved to us all and she gave us kisses, and even looking at it from far away, it was still super cool to watch. I love the visuals when you can see the full LED, this beautiful sandstorm going on. It's very meticulously made. Like, there's a lot of detail in it. It's really beautiful. That's actually one thing I noticed, which I'll talk about maybe with Latvia, is that there's a lot of LEDs you don't see on TV because obviously the LED plays throughout the whole song, but you might only get to see it like every 5 seconds or every 10, or when they choose to show it. So there is a slight different atmosphere when you're in the arena, and that's why some things maybe don't translate at home but do in the arena. Yeah, look, we obviously know that this is favorite to win. I absolutely love her. I'm still not there with the song, but I'm such a huge fan of her. Also first half, and that's good because it makes the show even more exciting. I have to admit, if Gary had been second half and she'd been first half, I think it would be even more exciting. Oh no, she wasn't. She was 17, so she was second half in 2012, so she's first half this time. But we have had loads of first half winners. Duncan Lawrence, Salvador Sobral, Mon Zemelov, I think. Yeah, Mon Zemelov was 10th. Being first half doesn't reduce her chances because they'll just put her 10th, 11th, 12th or 13th, and you can totally win from there. Conchita was in the first half as well. Okay, next up was Serbia. Now, in case you saw my live reaction, I absolutely freaked out. The reason I was so panicked about this was I posted my tweet saying this is amazing, I love this, etc. And people were replying to me that you couldn't hear it at home, you couldn't hear the vocals. In the arena it sounded fine, I could hear them very clearly, and it sounded very bassy in the arena as well, which I loved. I was reading those messages like, oh crap, this isn't qualifying, and I was starting to prepare myself for the worst. So when this was called 9th, I was also expecting them to call Norway 9th. Yeah, I absolutely lost it. So happy about this. I hope that those vocal issues can be worked out, this thing where people at home aren't able to hear him clearly. He said in the press conference that they still want to change a couple of things around, they're always creating and innovating, so I hope that they watch the playback and fix that, because I don't want his score to be dragged down because of that. I am kind of feeling that this was maybe in the 10th qualification spot. I think he would have got points from Switzerland and Croatia, but from the sounds of it, a lot of people weren't able to vibe with it fully because of the vocals. I still think it stood out because of the computer game feel. Anyway, I'm delighted. He's first half as well. Some people talking that this could be in the death slot. I don't know. It could possibly. We have to wait and see the semi-final 2 songs where are they drawn, because then we can start to guess what the running order is. And then last to be called was Alessandro from Norway. Again, I think this should have been called earlier because it's a little bit obvious. I think it would have been more exciting if Moldova or Czechia or Portugal were called last. I think that would have made for a better show. Maybe it is random, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, this was a tiny bit obvious. In the arena, it was really, really good. It looked very professional, put together. There's nothing massively risky in it, but it's extremely solid, very enjoyable. Vocally, she sounded great. She saves herself with all the dress rehearsals. She goes kind of 60-70%. That's a conscious thing that she does, which kind of makes sense strategically for me. This has been drawn second half, which I think is good because it raises its chances a little bit. Let me just check her odds and see. She's still 7th in the odds. It just feels like maybe a little bit too solid. It feels it doesn't have enough risk or danger in it. I love the dancing in it though. Maybe just a bit too safe and solid, but who knows? If this wins, totally happy. We're going to Oslo or Bergen or Trondheim. Let's go through some of the non-qualifiers. Now this semi-final was just absolutely cutthroat. There were so many excellent entries. Let's first talk about Malta, who I put through as one of my risky qualifiers. I thought this was really, really fun. I thought they put their absolute heart and souls into it. It looked great. So much energy and went into it. I feel so bad for Malta because really they've made such great improvements this year. You know, the national final was a bit too long, but they came out with a good product. So the end result was good. First time sending a male act in quite a long time. Yeah, I hope that they can just see this as a little bit. I do agree this is bad luck. Really disappointed in this. I think it would have been really fun in the final. It would have been a good opener for the final as well. Second, let's talk about Latvia now. The LEDs here were absolutely stunning. So they had those big lights that they had them all the way up, and they had pictures of the guys in the band overlapping with these lights. It was really, really stunning. They didn't really show it that much on the screen. Yeah, this was gorgeous. I was really moved by this. In fairness now, I'd had a couple of drinks and I was quite tired, but I got really emotional watching it. It was absolutely stunning. So sad because Latvia had that 4-5 non-qualification streak and they weren't able to break it, and just a little bit of bad luck being in the tougher semi-final, and also just not having a great running order, draw 4th. I hope this doesn't discourage them. I think that Latvia's made a huge improvement and progress, and that they continue with Supernova and just keep developing their artists and whatnot. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Latvia. Is this 6 in a row? Yeah, 6 non-qualifications in a row. That's toxic. And you know, if Georgia qualify tomorrow, that means that they have the longest streak. So really, really sad about this. I know that a lot of people really love this. This is just heartbreaking. Okay, next let's talk about Ireland Wild Youth. Look, I don't want to go on a big rant about this because I'm kind of tired. I don't want to have a big breakdown, but look, we knew that this wasn't going to qualify. It was 14th in the odds the whole time. I don't think the staging elevated it enough. Look, the system we have in Ireland just doesn't work. We're already getting the same thing being said in the amongst the Irish public. I saw comments on many of the news articles saying it's all political, etc., etc. There's no accountability here. There's no responsibility taken. I don't know how we're ever going to develop if we just keep using the same excuses over again. The system is just not working. There's so many problems at multiple levels. This isn't just the head of delegation. It's a broadcaster issue. It's a strategy issue. There's so many issues going on here. You don't qualify once in 9 years without there being like systematic problems. I might cover it in a different video, but yeah, look, just not great. And then the statement that Connor put out, their communications officer should have prepared a statement and put it out. Look, we're disappointed. We tried our best. We hope we did you proud. They didn't put out a press statement, and then Connor ended up making a comment that didn't go down well at all. This is just messy. I just can't. We need to move on. Okay, Netherlands, really sad about this one. It would have been such a beautiful redemption arc if they had gone through. so proud of them. I'm genuinely proud of me and Dion. I thought they did a great performance. Again, in the arena, this sounded great. People telling me that at home it didn't sound as clear. Honestly, it sounded really good in the arena, and I thought it looked so beautiful. And the amount of battering that they've taken for them to come out and do such a great performance, I'm really, really impressed and proud of them. And I hope the Dutch people are as well. I know that Dutch had this incredible qualification streak of 5 in a row. I hope there isn't an overreaction from the Dutch media about this. You know, 5 qualifications out of 6 is incredible. This may have come 11th, who knows, we'll wait and see. We'll find out the results on Sunday morning. I hope they don't get a hard time. I think I have a lot of respect for them. And then finally we have Azerbaijan, Tural Turanex. I was really surprised. They have a very close relationship with Malta. When they walked by, they were hugging each other, and like they seemed to be really, really close, which I thought was cute. And I saw them hugging with Dion as well afterwards. These are really sweet guys. I like that Azerbaijan's going for a different strategy and going for a slightly different feel. I'll be very interested to see next year what type of entry do they go for. Yeah, like Azerbaijan have had a very good reason. They qualified the last 3 times in a row. I think one non-qualification with a kind of risky trying something new is not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I like this. I'm actually excited for Azerbaijan in the coming years. I hope they don't look at this too much as like a big disappointment. Okay, some quick stats about this semi-final. We had 4 countries qualified from the first half. We had the middle song qualify, which was Switzerland, and then we had 5 songs qualified from the second half. That is pretty standard. We almost always have more qualified from the second half, the only exception being both semi-finals in 2018, and the bookies got it completely right. So the top 10 in the odds were the top 10 who went through, and you might think that happens a lot, but actually I can't remember the last time that happened. Usually there's 1 or 2 wrong with the bookies, so that means, I think it means a lot of people got paid out. So lots of people buying Ferraris and villas in various coastal Mediterranean countries. As I said, I'm managing my workload, so I will aim to do a dress rehearsal video for semi-final number 2, prioritize doing a prediction video for semi-final 2, because worst case scenario, I can just do something very quick for that if I'm stuck for time. I have so many shout outs to do. Thank you everyone who's been sending me support. Please, if I forget to do a shout out to you, please tell me, because I do not want to miss anyone. I have a spreadsheet to keep track of it, but even spreadsheets can go wrong sometimes. I want to give a shout out to Sean, Lara and Alex, Marcus, Terry and Myra. Myra or Mira? I think it's Myra. Jack, Adam, Monica and Jay, who I think are a family in a household. No Have Tweet, which is the name. Elena and Milana Serbian. Thank you to everybody for your support on Buy Me Coffee. Thank you to Dave for supporting me on Super Thanks. Your support is totally and utterly appreciated. Thank you so much. What were your surprises from here? Who did you think was going to get through? Who were you disappointed about? What was your biggest shock? Any thoughts on the running order? I will try to do a running order draw as well. I will try to do a running order video as well if I can. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you like this analysis video and you want to see some more, I will leave a couple of them for you here. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another Eurovision analysis video very soon. Goodbye.